Welcome back to the Becoming Number One podcast, where our goal and mission is to help you become the best version of yourself while we are on our own pursuit to become the best versions of ourselves.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to another episode, my friends. I hope you all are doing well. Summer is approaching us. Nice weather. And everything's better when the sun's out.
Yeah, somebody's attitude is chipper this morning.
Oh, man. It's a better way of life.
Yeah?
That's why we're moving to Florida.
Is it?
Yep. Son.
That's what you think.
Oh, well, hey. If I have to drag you there, throw you in the back of a U-Haul.
Yeah, David's kind of
family.
aggressive when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting the flip that gets switched.
Yeah. Well.
Sometimes it's like, and then it's fucking like an aggressive
Grizzly bear.
I was going to say gorilla, but.
Well, anyways. Thanks for tuning in, guys. What are we talking about today, Aidan?
We're doing something a little bit different. You know, and it still falls within the vein of personal development, I suppose, but it's something to spice it up, at least for us, as we kind of branch out from just the typical personal development talk. So what we want to talk about today was what we would do if we lost it all tomorrow. What would we do?
What would I do?
And this is good. I'll preface with this. This is good because here's the thing. A lot of people wait until the ceiling comes crashing down to make big change. But you don't need to.
100%.
When you say that out loud, it's kind of fucking ridiculous. The people wait to make big changes until everything's at their worst.
Yep.
Why let it get to that point?
Yeah.
You don't need to wait. You can do it now.
You can always keep your back against the wall. And I mean, that's what it is too. When you lose everything, your back is against the wall. Everything feels like it's caving in. But the key thing is when you do lose everything, then you finally start moving with a sense of urgency.
Yeah. Which is good. Because I feel like I know what kind of where you're going to take your answer, and I might take mine a little bit different. But it also comes back to that question. I've heard plenty of like sales coaches and trainers and motivators say, if you had to make $1 million this year, would you do it? Would you be able to, rather, is the question. And a lot of people are like, I don't know, maybe I could. And then they ask the same exact question again, but now your partner's or your kid's life is on the line. Yeah. Are you going to make $1 million? And the answer is undoubtedly yes. I will. I will do whatever it takes to do it. And then they ask the follow-up question is, why does it take somebody's life on the line to be able to do it? Mm-hmm. Is that like, what changes with your ability to be able to do it?
Yeah. Words are so powerful because it's, you have to.
Yeah.
Like, I have to. And when you have to, you're very dangerous. And because when you have to, you're going to do it because there's a reason why, and you're going to move with a sense of urgency, and you're going to do anything to get it done. For example, like Aidan just said, hey, if I took your wife, your kids, and I held them hostage, and they were going to die after a year, if you didn't make $1 million, would you? The answer, everybody would say, yes, I would figure out a way. So if I lost everything tomorrow, my back is against the wall. But I want to operate in general like my back is against the wall because that creates urgency and speed. And that's what was required to win, to have things.
Correct, which is kind of what we talked about a couple episodes ago, which was framing, right? That is a frame that you can live your life by. My back is against the wall. And look, yes, it's going to be different. Somebody kidnaps your kids, your wife, and holds them hostage. Like, there is no more real than that. And although you can't replicate that when it isn't happening, you can still work towards it by putting yourself in that mindset, which is, hey, my back's against the wall. I need to act with urgency.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that too. I mean, obviously we don't want your wife or your kids or your husband to be held hostage or anything like that. But operating out of that state of mind, like, you're not crazy for doing that. But like, whatever you need to do to get in the gear to be able to go out and do the things that you need to do to be able to produce the results that you want, do it. It's not crazy.
No.
Because when you get it, you're going to say, I'm glad I did that. Hey, now I know if I want X, Y, and Z, I have to operate out of that state of mind. And it could be whatever. It doesn't have to be your wife or kids. It could be losing something. But let's say I lost everything tomorrow. This is exactly what I am going to do. And when we say, just for clarification here, when you say lost everything, are we talking car, house, I have $0, like everyone in my family left me?
I mean,
Okay,
fuck.
like,
Well,
let's
take it to the extreme,
Yes.
but we can give a little bit different. So, I mean, you're basically married, just not legally.
Sure.
So take the non-married.
Okay.
Don't got a partner.
Okay.
I'm married, so I'll take the latter. And granted, all right, let's take pets out of the equation too, because shit.
I love my dog.
I know, exactly. And I love my dog. So let's take the pets out of the equation. Let's put it this way. I got a family. You don't got a family.
Damn.
Both lose everything. I'm talking cars. I'm talking fucking, I don't own a house anymore. Fucking bank accounts are drained. Everything.
Do I have a place to sleep?
Yeah, we can say the necessities. And even
my framework, and I'm just digging here.
Even the taking of the car is like let's say you got transportation places.
Sure. Okay. So my framework is going to be the same whether like, hey, I still have the cars or I don't. Anything that I currently have, I'm going to sell.
Okay.
I'm literally just going to get rid of it to get some money in my pocket. But I want you guys to pay attention to the mindset that I have when I go through and I explain what I'm going to do, because what I do is going to be different from what somebody else is going to do, just because we're in different areas in life, different fields, career-wise.
Different skills.
Different
risk tolerances.
Exactly.
So
yep.
That's why I want you to go first with this too, because I'm curious what you're going to say.
What are my skills? That's what I'm going to look at. Well, I can market, I can sell, I can lead. Like, those are my three things. Like, I can do those things very well, especially marketing and sales. Sales is the big one. So I'm going to go back in time, and I'm assuming if I lost everything, that means I had things and I was doing well at a point in time.
Yeah.
Right? So what was I doing that got me to that point? What did I do that made me my first buck? And what did I stop doing? Because I stopped doing something, and that's the reason why everything came crashing down. And usually it came from 90 days before. It's usually a 90-day lag period. When you fuck up 90 days prior, it's going to catch up. It's going to catch up in 3 months. So what did I do wrong? I'm going to literally go on a piece of paper or a whiteboard and figure out what character flaws I had that made me get to this point. Okay, I figured it out. Let's say, hey, I wasn't selling anymore. I wasn't marketing the same. I wasn't leading the same. All those three things. I look at it. Okay, perfect. Now, what can I currently do right now where I can get in a position to make me some money? And that's sales. So I'm going to go back to originally what I first started to do that made me money. And I'm going to do that again. Literally, that simple. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to emulate the person that I was and try to be better than the person that I was. And that's where it comes in. Hey, what was I doing well at the point in time when I got it? And then what was I currently doing wrong now that I lost it? And I'm going to go back to what I was doing well, and I'm going to be that person every day. And then I'm going to get in the gym. Some way, shape, or form, I'm still going to work out because I have to have a strong mind. And when I have a strong mind, the things like sales, for example, I can go into it and still be confident of getting it done, because if you have a strong body, you'll have a strong mind.
So let's get super tactical, or
Sure.
rather super detailed, because I'd like to hope that most of the people who are listening to this aren't at a point in their lives, hopefully not, where everything has come crashing down, they've lost everything. But sometimes it's good to hit the reset button if you're on the wrong trajectory. It's kind of like why last resort for dietitians or nutritionists for somebody who is totally unhealthy is sometimes they'll start with a fast, because a fast, especially a long period fast, resets your body, right? So just because somebody hasn't had the ceiling crash down on them doesn't mean that they can't benefit from a reset. And I mean scrub everything. So if you're taking it back, and I like the idea of, hey, if I was successful before, I'm not successful now, everything comes crashing down. What did I start with? What got me there in the first place? But let's get tactical for these guys. What would you do specifically? Where are you going to the gym? What are you doing? What do you start with?
Well, what I'm going to do is, every single person on here listening is not going to do it. So that's why I'm not even going into exactly like, hey, I'm going to gonna pull this list of data, or I'm gonna go through
Doesn't
my
have
old
to be
data.
that, but what is your vehicle? You particularly.
Well, my vehicle sales.
Okay.
It is sales. Sales is one of the fastest ways to make the most money.
Okay.
So that is exactly what I would do. I would get on the phone and I would start selling something.
So does that mean you're going into sales for somebody else, like at a car dealership or
No, I
something
can't work
else?
for anyone else.
Okay. So you would go into sales for yourself. Okay.
Of course, yes. Me, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I already had something that I could still be doing. So I'm going to do that again.
Okay.
I'm just going to go back to ground zero and literally start over from scratch. Brand new. Just me. Pull out my phone and start making calls and start pitching people. That's exactly what I would do, because that right there, I get a couple sales, it builds momentum. A month's time, I'm out of it.
You've lost everything. Maybe you can scrounge together a few $100.
And by the way, I have. And I'm telling you, this is exactly what I did. Literally exactly what I did.
So let's say this then. You lost everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have some things you can sell. You scrounge around a few $100, maybe even $1,000. What are some things that you would go to sell with that amount of money? We're not talking a 20 grand budget. We're talking like a couple $100 to $1,000. Where are you going with that?
What am I selling, or like my assets, or
no? Where are you going with sales to make money?
Well, you can sell cars. For me, I'm in the real estate field, so I'm selling real estate.
Okay.
That's it. That's what I'm doing.
Is that something you can do with a few $100? Of course. $1,000?
Of course, you can do it with $0.
Okay.
Which is literally what I did. Did it with $0. Negative, actually. $- I did it with.
Okay.
So
where are you going from there then? Like you said, you get started, you start making phone calls.
So there you go. So start making phone calls. Let's say I get a sale.
Okay.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to reinvest that money back into the machine, and I'm going to multiply what I just did. So if I did 1, I'm going to figure out how I did that and try to make it 2. And then from 2, I'm going to try to go to 4. And then from 4, I'm going to try to go to 8. I'm just going to multiply over and over and over again. Because if I did it once, I could do it 10 times.
Okay.
You just got to multiply your effort or figure out how. And then after a while, what you can do is you can leverage people's time. So that's, I know we're just talking about starting over now. We're growing, but as an entrepreneur, what you want to do is you want to leverage other people's times for something that you could do, that you did, that proved to work. You leverage their time, and now they're going to be producing a result for you. So after a month, I'd be good. I'd be back.
Okay. So it sounds like your biggest things, delayed gratification was a big one.
Of course.
And I see that in hey, I'm going to reinvest everything right away.
Yep.
You haven't said anything about going in and buying a car. You haven't said anything about going in and getting a nicer place to stay. You haven't said anything about storing money away from a rainy day. You said, hey, I'm putting everything back into this machine that's making me money.
Correct.
Right? Which is delayed gratification. Putting off the gratification to these things so that you can have bigger and more gratification later. What else? You also said that you're going to be really strategic and reflective. You're looking back at, hey,
Correct.
What have I been, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
What have you been successful at previously?
Exactly.
That you might have, not might have, you obviously lost your way if this is where you are. Go back to the basics.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to, again, who was I? Who was David at the point in time where he was winning, where he was being successful? And then I go back to that version of me. I have to. And then from that version of me, I have to get better of that version to get more of it, and not lose my way again. But let's talk about somebody, because I think this is beneficial too. I don't think a lot of people will necessarily go negative or go to 0, but they could be close to it.
Yeah.
And they still have the car, they still have the house or the watch or whatever they have. Right? They have some assets. I would sell the car. I would sell the house potentially, depending on it. I would get rid of anything I possibly could. I would just cut my expenses as low as I possibly could. I would cut them down as low as I possibly could, where I could still survive right now, where it could give me a month or 2 months where I could get back to it. Okay? Because you can always go get the car again. You can always go get the house again. You can always go get the watch again.
Yep.
You can always go and get these things. But in the meantime, right now in the situation, I got to cut everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got to live way below my means. And I've been to put everything back into the machine, pick up the phone, start calling, make some sales, put it back into it, make some sales, multiply it, leverage other people's time. And now I'm back. Okay. But during that whole process, I'm still going to live below my means. I don't want to go above.
Good. You're taking the words out of my mouth, because that's where I would say reflection, getting back to basics, and delayed gratification kind of seem to be the big takeaways from your path. Living below your means is kind of one of the big things for me.
Yep.
Especially, and this is something that people can take away, like you said, whether they're at rock bottom or whether, it doesn't matter where they are in life. I think living below your means is a principle that unless you were filthy rich, you should adhere to.
Mm-hmm. And everybody too, like a side note on that, because it's important. You can make $1 million a year and still
be paycheck to paycheck, or
be paycheck
dollar
to paycheck.
dollar.
But also too, like you could still live below your means if you're making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to live a $5 million a year life, which a lot of people do.
Yep.
You live below the $1 million. And that could be 100,000, that could be 200,000, it could be 50,000. Just like, it doesn't matter what number you're at, you can still live below your means.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's why I think it's a good principle to live by regardless, which is why, like, if I were to lose everything, but I got a family to take care of,
Sell them?
I could sell them. I don't know how that would go. My mindset is at living below your means and stability. And those two come hand in hand, right? And that means get to work and get to work hard. That's a baseline. Mm-hmm. When your back's up against the wall, you got nothing to lose. You need to work harder than you've ever worked, and you need to outwork everybody and everything around you. Yep. That's a constant. Doesn't matter what route you take, that is a constant. So be working. And that could be anything. Mm-hmm. Anything that could produce dollars. It could be sales. It could be a job somewhere else. Potentially, what you want to target, though, were things to where you're not limited in your input to output. Yeah. Right? That can be the issue with salary W-2 is, what if you are an overachiever? What if your back is against the wall and the salary that you have isn't actually cutting it anymore? Well, you're capped. You can't work more than 40 hours a week. What if there are no overtime opportunities in what you do? Well, then that's an issue. So that's what I'm targeting. Something to where I can put in as much time as I want, because that's what I have access of right now. Yep. I got time. I don't have money. I don't have necessarily resources. I got time. So I'm going to go find something that I can trade my time for dollars. No cap to it. And I'm going to trade as much fucking time as I can. Yep. I'm going to give all my time to get dollars. Yep.
And you got to say no to the thing. Like you can't be going out. You can't be hanging out with the friends. Can't be watching TV. Can't be doing any of that.
Correct.
Your time is the most important, valuable thing that you have right now.
And it is. And you're going to directly trade that time for money. And then what are you going to do? You're not just going to, once again, like you said, you're not going and buying the car. You're not going and buying the house. For me, if you got a family to take care of, okay, you're going to build stability. Mm-hmm. That means emergency fund. You're going to live below your means. You're not going to be eating out. You're going to be cooking home cooked meals. You're going to be shopping at the cheapest grocery stores. I still think going to the gym is important, but guess what? Although I'm not the biggest fan of the Purple Palace, you can get a gym membership for $10 a month. That is doable. Mm-hmm. That is the price of a single meal for the entirety of a month. So, boom, got your gym membership. You're staying active. You can still shop at cheap grocery stores, and you can still get whole foods, not processed foods. You're building a baseline. I'm living below my means. I'm creating an emergency fund so that, hey, I can start to take risks. Because realistically, you don't get success without risk. It could be risking your time. It could be risking your money. It could be risking something. But you need to be able to take risks. So soon as I got, let's say, a 3 or a 6, or maybe better yet, a year worth of that living below your means stored away, well, then guess what? Then I'm going and taking risks. And that's where he and I differ. I'm a little bit less risk averse than he is. But at the end of the day, we both recognize that risk is vital to success. So that's what I'm doing. Building building a baseline, building some reserves, still living below my means, enough to the point to where I can start taking big risks and I'm not putting family at jeopardy.
Yeah. And it's, you have to rebuild the foundation.
Yes.
And that's where it's going back to, hey, who was I when I was having success, when I was winning? What was that person doing? How was he talking? How was he walking? What time was he waking up? What time was he going to bed? What was he putting in his mind? How was he treating other people? What was he doing with his money? All these things. Like, you have to get back to that, and that's the foundation, and you can't crack that, because when you crack it, everything is going to come crashing down.
Correct. A weak foundation means everything you build on top of it's going to be weak as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why your foundation needs to be rock solid. That's your habits. It's kind of it's your habits and your standards, really.
Yep.
If you're somebody if your habits are overconsumption, overspending, everything after that's going to be weak. It's going to be flimsy. Mm-hmm. So now I feel like that's a good lesson for this. Now is the best time of any to rebuild your foundation. You don't need to be at rock bottom to rebuild 100%. Your foundation. You don't. You can do it now. And that means living below your means. Mm-hmm. It means investing in skills that allow you to directly, uncapped, trade time for money. Yep. And then eventually you'll start leveraging other things. Like you said, leveraging other people's time for money. That's where you start.
Yep. Yeah, it's very important that you do build the foundation. It's who is that person that you need to become. You don't have to be at ground zero, like Aidan said. You could still be kicking ass right now. But if you're slacking off, in about 90 days, it's going to catch up to you. All of our problems stem from about 90 days ago. All of them. So, rebuild the foundation. Become the person who you need to be able to keep it. Not just get it, but keep it. Because that's most important. It doesn't matter if you can get it. It matters if you can keep it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, we hope you like this. We give you slightly different perspectives, but the lessons are the same at the end of the day. So take them, use them, please. Live a better life, and we appreciate you.